Hey there, it's been a while, hope you still remember us. The bus has been parked for almost a year now and we haven't given up yet. Since the beginning of the whole project, the bus has been in the garage for 2.5 months and a little over a year in front of our home. For about a year now she has been parked at the current location. Even though there are some drawbacks, we do love it. Not having any COVID-19 measures anymore made it possible to earn some much needed money again, because my bank account was becoming rather empty. Downside was of course less time for our Baba Yaga. At home we had the garage as a workshop, but the new location has practically nothing. We decided to get a tent so we wouldn't be so dependent on whether it would rain or not. To be honest, at home we also had to wait for dry weather because the garage is too small to cut large wooden plates. Oh, and I don't think the neighbors would like this tent in front of their house either. Later we added a heater, making it really nice to work in it, as it turned out to be quite cold sometimes. Oh come on, really? The last video ended, besides moving the bus, with a prototype of a separation wall with lots of notes. Well, we've progressed a little and almost every bed has them now, without notes. It seemed so easy in advance. In real life it turned out to be a nightmare because nothing was suitable for prefab production. You would think it's just a matter of cutting out the wood and putting it in place. In reality it turned out into some sort of survival of the fittest, from a patient's point of view. Every cut we made had to be fitted, adjusted, fitted, adjusted some more, fitted again, and if we were lucky it could stay in after at least 5 or 6 attempts. Not having to listen to your neighbor snoring. Okay, we won't be able to completely prevent it, but we can at least try to reduce the disturbance in the force. Fiberglass or rock wool really itches like hell, so we didn't want to use that. Whilst going through the DIY store we saw this laying on the shelves. Fairly easy to cut, doesn't itch or get damp, and it's insanely fire retardant. Sleeping should be comfortable, but a good mattress isn't the only thing you need for a good bed bunk. Reading a book or some info for the next gig or charging your phone is quite important too these days. So we thought of a LED strip with a dimmer and about a USB port for your phone. All with a sleek look, as if you were traveling on a state-of-the-art modern nightliner. Looks and works great, except for one minor issue with the lighting. It beeps. Of course it was very pleasing to find out, not. We immediately contacted the sales rep, but they were just as surprised as we were. In the end we found a truly high-tech solution. No more being woken up by your fellow passenger's bed light. At home we had normal mains power, but at the current location there is nothing. Besides using a small battery-powered drill we couldn't do much. At first we ran a Victron Quattro, but to use that we had to run the engine or else the batteries would run out of power, and that felt just plain silly. Running a 370 kilowatt engine to power up some minor tools which only need about 800 watts? Yep, we desperately needed a generator. We bought a nice small 3-phase generator that produced about 6000 watts. As expected, it worked flawless. It was absolutely spot on. Yeah, right. Like almost everything, this one also broke down less than 5 minutes after we started it. So we got another one. To be fair, that did its job nicely, and the only thing we couldn't use was an air compressor. Having air-powered tools made it possible to continue with the Bedbunks. The bunks were mainly made of steel beams, but because that doesn't look or feel nice, we wanted lots of woodworks to give it that comfortable feel. Besides the look of it, it also added extra strength to the upper beds. Connecting the steel beams was easy with rivets. For the wooden parts we used something similar. The same kind of rivet nuts we used for the beams of the VIP sleeping area. With a tool like this it was just so nice and easy to install. After we finished the beds, we were thinking where you could leave your phone. Yes, we had charging points, but you can't put them under your pillow, right? We quickly thought of the place where to lay down your phone, but where you can also leave your keys, wallet or any other smaller items. Space is limited, so we had to be creative, making sure you could access it from both the upper and lower bed. The first main part we prefabricated inside the working tent. The rest we made inside the bus. Maybe not perfect, but we were impressed with the results. As said before, we couldn't run the compressor, so if we needed air for the power tools, we started the engine. To get the pressure to the tools, we also needed to fix some adapter tubes. The first time we used the staple gun, the air pressure was so high, the staples went almost straight through the wood. A pressure regulator saved the continuance of the operation. But we still had to run the engine, and with a fuel consumption of about 2 liters of diesel per hour, it felt a little over the top. When the second generator also started to fail, we decided to buy a bigger and brand new diesel generator. A 6000 watt single phase generator with a catalytic converter, making it also a little less harmful for the environment. Until now we haven't found anything we can't plug in, because it might use too much electricity. After we've spent almost the entire summer creating the Bedbunks, we desperately needed to do something else, because those beds drove us almost insane. There was one area where I had made a slow start but couldn't continue, because the beds had to be done first. The lounge. It was such a delight and it gave us joy again. Something not taking a whole lot of time or an endless amount of effort, and where you could almost instantly see that we were creating nice things again. On the back wall a large TV will be installed, and the cupboard will have a fridge for drinks on the top level, an amplifier and a PlayStation below, and on the bottom a collection of games for the PlayStation. Doors will be fitted later, as we are still waiting for parts to arrive, and cushions will be added too. Did everything go to plan as expected? Hell no! At the moment we are still a little scared to start with the toilet. The amount of beds was supposed to be 14 until we realized that the staircase took more space than we anticipated, making it impossible for the 14th bed to be created. The unused space it leaves behind shall be used as a luggage compartment. The latest discovery we made is that the VIP bedroom won't be possible. Removing the separation walls for when it has to become a VIP room is much more difficult than expected, making the risk of damaging other things inside the bus too high. Yes, it's a disappointment, but if we really need a VIP room, we'll turn the lounge into the VIP bedroom. Oh, another thing which didn't go according to plan was me, myself and I. I've been suffering a worn out hip for almost a year without knowing it was actually worn out. They put me on a waiting list for an operation since this December, and I got lucky. The operation was on the 4th of January. Yep, I slowly start to turn into Iron Man as I seem to collect more and more metal in my leg. In about 3 to 4 weeks we'll continue with the build, and it looks very likely that we'll get everything done sometime this year, if I don't break something again. See you soon, bye!